In the vast landscape of human interactions, the dynamic between men and women stands as one of the most profound and complex. As adherents to the ancient philosophy of Stoicism, we understand that the path to virtue lies in the mastery of the self, in the regulation of our passions, and in the unwavering pursuit of wisdom. It is through this lens that we must examine our conduct with women, recognizing that the principles of Stoicism offer timeless guidance on what men should not do. In this reflection, we shall delve into the depths of Stoic thought, drawing from the teachings of revered Stoic philosophers to illuminate the path of self-control and fortitude. Avoid objectification. The first principle we must adhere to is the avoidance of objectifying women. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminds us that we should see others not as means to our ends, but as individuals with their own intrinsic value. He states, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them." By objectifying women, we reduce them to mere objects for our pleasure or utility, disregarding their inherent dignity and worth. In our quest for virtue, we must cultivate the ability to see beyond the superficial and appreciate the deeper essence of a person. This requires us to exercise our reason and to rise above base desires. As Marcus Aurelius admonishes, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When we harbor thoughts that objectify or dehumanize others, we taint our own soul. Therefore, let us strive to see women as equal partners in the human experience, deserving of respect and honor. Refrain from manipulation. Another critical aspect of our conduct should be the avoidance of manipulation. Manipulation stems from a desire to control others for our benefit, often at the expense of their autonomy and well-being. This behavior is antithetical to the Stoic ideal of living in accordance with nature, which includes respecting the natural rights and freedom of others. Seneca, in his letters, warns against the corrosive nature of deceit and manipulation. He writes, "He who seeks wisdom must be a free spirit, unshackled by the chains of deceit." Manipulating women undermines their agency and autonomy, treating them not as equals but as pawns in a game. Instead, we should engage with honesty and integrity, recognizing that true relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding, not on deception and coercion. Do not indulge in anger. Anger is a destructive emotion that can cause immense harm in our relationships. The Stoics teach us that anger arises from the mistaken belief that others have the power to affect our inner tranquility. Yet, as Epictetus reminds us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Allowing anger to govern our interactions with women only serves to undermine the harmony and respect that should characterize our relationships. Instead of yielding to anger, we must practice patience and understanding. Marcus Aurelius offers profound insight into managing anger. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? By mastering our emotions and responding with calm rationality, we uphold the Stoic virtue of self-control and maintain the dignity of our interactions. Eschew possessiveness. Possessiveness is another behavior that men should avoid in their relationships with women. The desire to possess or control another person stems from a place of insecurity and fear, not from love or respect. As Stoics, we understand that true love is rooted in freedom and mutual respect, not in ownership or domination. Epictetus teaches us that we should not seek to control external things, which includes other people, but rather focus on our own internal state. He states, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." By relinquishing the need to possess or control women, we honor their autonomy and cultivate healthier, more genuine relationships. Reject superficial judgments. It is all too common to judge others based on superficial attributes such as appearance, status, or wealth. However, the Stoic philosopher Seneca advises us to look beyond these external factors and to focus on the character and virtue of individuals. He writes, "A person's worth is measured by their actions, not by their appearance." In our interactions with women, we should strive to see and appreciate their inner qualities, rather than making snap judgments based on external appearances. This approach fosters deeper connections and aligns with the Stoic commitment to wisdom and virtue. Avoid disrespect. Disrespect in any form is antithetical to the principles of Stoicism. To disrespect another is to fail to recognize their inherent dignity and worth. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. By treating women with respect, even in the face of disrespect, we maintain our own virtue and uphold the Stoic ideal of moral excellence. Respect is fundamental to all human interactions and is particularly crucial in our relationships with women. It involves listening, valuing their perspectives, and treating them as equals. This is not only a reflection of our own character, but also a recognition of the interconnectedness of all human beings. Do not engage in gossip. Gossip is a form of speech that can cause significant harm and damage to relationships. It is a manifestation of idle talk that the Stoics caution against. Epictetus advises, first learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak. Engaging in gossip about women not only harms their reputation, but also diminishes our own integrity. It is a failure to exercise the Stoic virtue of wisdom, which involves thoughtful and purposeful speech. Instead of participating in gossip, we should strive to speak words that build up and encourage, reflecting the Stoic commitment to constructive and meaningful communication. Refuse to harbor resentment. Resentment is a poison that corrodes the soul. It stems from clinging to past grievances and nursing a sense of injustice. However, as Stoics, we recognize that holding on to resentment is a choice that ultimately harms us more than those we resent. Seneca writes, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." In our relationships with women, we must practice forgiveness and let go of past hurts. This does not mean condoning harmful behavior, but rather choosing not to be defined by it. By releasing resentment, we free ourselves to engage in healthier, more positive interactions. Eschew envy. Envy is a destructive emotion that arises from comparing ourselves to others and feeling diminished by their success or happiness. Marcus Aurelius advises, do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours. In the context of our relationships with women, envy can manifest in feelings of inadequacy or competitiveness. Instead, we should practice gratitude and contentment, recognizing that each person's journey is unique. By celebrating the successes and happiness of others, we cultivate a sense of inner peace and harmony. Avoid neglect. Neglect in relationships can take many forms, from failing to listen to disregarding the needs and feelings of the other person. The Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of attention and presence in our interactions. Seneca writes, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." By being fully present and attentive in our relationships with women, we show that we value and respect them. This involves active listening, empathy, and a willingness to understand their perspectives. Such mindful engagement fosters deeper connections and aligns with the Stoic commitment to living with intention and purpose. Do not shun vulnerability. Vulnerability is often perceived as a weakness, but the Stoics teach us that it is, in fact, a strength. It is through vulnerability that we connect with others on a deeper level and build authentic relationships. Marcus Aurelius writes, "What stands in the way becomes the way." In our relationships with women, we should not shy away from being vulnerable. This involves sharing our true selves, including our fears, hopes, and struggles. By doing so, we create a space for genuine connection and mutual understanding, reflecting the Stoic commitment to authenticity and courage. Reject discrimination. Discrimination, in any form, is a failure to recognize the inherent worth and dignity of others. The Stoics teach us that all human beings are equal, regardless of gender, race, or status. Epictetus states, "All human beings are commingled out of the same elements, and we must love them all with a like love." In our interactions with women, we must actively reject any form of discrimination. This involves treating women with the same respect and consideration that we would want for ourselves. By doing so, we uphold the Stoic ideal of justice and equality. Do not fear commitment. Commitment in relationships can be daunting, but the Stoics teach us that fear should not dictate our actions. Seneca writes, "If you really want to escape the things that harass you, what you're needing is not to be in a different place, but to be a different person." In our relationships with women, we should not fear commitment, but rather embrace it as an opportunity to grow and develop. Commitment requires us to be steadfast, reliable, and dedicated. By committing to our relationships, we demonstrate our willingness to invest in them and to uphold the Stoic virtues of loyalty and perseverance. Conclusion: embracing Stoic virtues in relationships. The teachings of Stoicism offer profound insights into how we should conduct ourselves in our relationships with women. By avoiding objectification, manipulation, anger, possessiveness, superficial judgments, disrespect, gossip, resentment, envy, neglect, and discrimination, and by embracing vulnerability and commitment, we align our actions with the Stoic virtues of wisdom,